You've heard the name Nyamuziwa, but you've probably never heard the kingdom behind it, a people called the Bujga. This week in Zimbabwean history, we travel to the northeastern plateau of the country, to the heartlands of Mutoko, to uncover the fascinating, almost mystical story behind the Shona dialect of Bujga and the people behind it. The Bujga, like many groups in Zimbabwe, are part of a long history of migration across southern Africa. Arriving in modern-day Zimbabwe in the 17th century, they were not wandering nomads, but they were a highly organized social elite group that emerged out of Luanze, which is modern-day Tete in Mozambique. It was from this migration they were named Bujga, which comes from the word Babuda, meaning those who have emerged. Breaking away from the east and led by a visionary leader named Nehari, while bringing with them a blend of Sena and Nyungwe in their cultural DNA, they marched towards Mutoko. Mutoko was not a random choice. The land was fertile and received good rains. But too, Mutoko had massive, well-baked granite hills, which provided natural fortresses against the raiding parties of that era. Yet Mutoko was already inhabited. Before the Bujga arrived, the land belonged to a Sosara king named Makate. And this is where it gets interesting. Folklore says Makate was invincible because he owned a magical gona, a charm in the shape of a tail, and try what they could, the newcomers could not defeat him with spears. So the Bujgas used a strategy that has been used since time immemorial to defeat even the strongest of kings: a bride. The Bujga spiritual leader, Neworeka, understood that physical strength would not win the war, and he sent his sister to marry Makate. In the silence of the night, the bride stole Makate's gona and brought it to the Bujga camp. When Makate awoke to find his power gone, he did not fight, but instead gathered his wives, children, cattle, and wealth before marching to a solid rock face now called Mutoko Ruins, or Terere Makate. According to witnesses, the rock opened, allowing the entire lineage to walk inside before the stone sealed shut behind them. To this day, Mutoko locals say they can still hear the lowing of Makate's kettle and the beat of drums from inside the earth. But the Bujga had successfully conquered the land, with the original owners becoming its eternal guardians. With Makate gone, the Bujga established a unique civilization, turning the valleys between the rocks into a breadbasket that exists even today, 400 years later. But it was their political system which was the true masterpiece. The Bujga created a dual authority system. While the chief handled the laws of man, the spirit of Neoreka, the Mondoro, handled the laws of the sky. Up until today, no chief can be installed in Mutoko without the spiritual voting of the ancestors. This deep spiritual connection is why the Bujga stayed so distinct. They became a part of the spiritual and physical geography of the Mutoko area, and their identity was forged in the discipline of their migration and their mysterious conquest. But as the colonial era arrived, and later, as a modern nation was born, the Bujga story began to fade from the headlines. They were placed under the Shona umbrella and categorized as either Zezuru or Korekore. This categorization did something dangerous. It erased the Bujga Mozambican origins and their unique military history from the history school books. The language, Chibujga, became a misspoken version of Standard Shona, with speakers often asked, "Why do you speak like that?" and sometimes being mocked. Yet despite this erasure, the Bujga people have stayed resilient. Today numbering to approximately 200,000 people, the Bujgas have mastered the granite landscape to become the nation's primary producers of mangoes and tomatoes. They also are the economic heartbeat of the Northeast, all while carrying the surnames of the Vabuda pioneers, Nyamuziwa, Simpoti, Kabasa, Mzokomba, Kasande. Today, the Zimbabwean constitution officially recognizes 16 official languages, a very beautiful step towards inclusivity. But in that list, Chibujga is missing. It is officially classified as a dialect, not as a language, much like Zezuru, Karanga, Korekore, and Manyika. And because it is just another dialect, its history begins to starve and its story runs the risk of being forgotten. Now, what do you think it would take for stories like this to be part of Zimbabwe's mainstream history? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while at it, please like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. For now, goodbye and till next week.